For those who don't know, this is Tioranda, America's first privately licensed mental asylum. It is the sanatorium where writer F. Scott Fitzgerald took his wife Zelda, in the hopes of curing her deteriorating mental state which led to both suicidal and homicidal tendencies. Tioranda was built in 1859 but didn't become a psychiatric hospital until 1915, where it remained as a medical facility all the way up to 1999 when it was promptly abandoned. Located in upstate New York and overlooking the Hudson River, for a long time the insides remained perfectly preserved, with its original features such as the alcoves and wood flooring remaining intact. The abandoned mental facility is surrounded by 60 acres of land and boasts a now deserted swimming pool, gymnasium and golf course. Unlike many asylums at the time, the doctors within Tioranda had some very progressive views about how to help people, and as it was a private establishment, they were a bit more refined than some other offerings. It included intensive talk therapy, fine dining, and calming recreational pursuits such as golf, skiing and painting. Even with all these attempted treatments, this was still a house of despair and sadness. Frances Seymour, mother to Jane Fonda, committed suicide here in 1942, and it is here where Rosemary Kennedy, sister to President John F. Kennedy, went after she was lobotomized at the age of 23, leaving her with a mental age of just 2. It was in 1934 that Zelda Fitzgerald was moved here in order for doctors to treat what they suspected was schizophrenia. As Zelda was incarcerated in the clinic, F. Scott drew from letters that Zelda wrote during her time in the asylum to form the character of Nicole Driver for his novel Tender is the Night. While still in Tioranda, Zelda read an early draft of the book and was so distraught with the character that she had to be placed under constant supervision for fear that she would take her own life. The fees for this asylum were around about $750 a month, which was rather a lot of money in 1934. So as F. Scott could not afford to keep Zelda in Tioranda, he moved her to a much cheaper hospital where events ultimately led to her death. Tioranda closed in 1999 and was bought by a Wall Street hedge fund manager in 2003. 10 years later, this man was diagnosed with a stroke, and in December of 2013, at the age of 87, he jumped out of a window on the Upper West Side to his death. For those new here, my name is Thomas. I have an unusual obsession with mental asylums, so much so that I wrote a horror novel set in one. It's called Asylums. If you liked anything that I talked about or want to hear more about my book, I have a monthly newsletter, and you can also find me on all of the socials. So that was Tioranda. I'm Thomas Goodyear, and I hope you have a good day.